Hi, I'm Jansen Chan. I'm the pastry chef at Oceana Restaurant in Manhattan, New York. And I'm here today to make a simple chocolate flourless cake. So let's just begin right away. We're going to start with some chocolate and butter and start melting that. What's important with the flourless chocolate cake, because it's so simple, it's really the quality of the ingredients that are really going to matter. Using high quality chocolate, butter, eggs will really get you a superior product in the end. So we're going to start over a bain-marie, which is French for a water bath. This gently melts the chocolate in the butter. So we're going to let that sit, stirring it occasionally with a spatula. The other part of the recipe will require separating eggs. We're going to separate the yolks and the whites and whip them separately, each with sugar. So we'll take 7 eggs and separate them. This particular flourless chocolate cake recipe is a recipe that I do at home on many occasions, just because of the simplicity and the ease of it. Most guests really enjoy it for the texture. It has a really nice, soft chocolate center with a nice crispy chocolate edge. So we'll take our sugar. Okay. So we will begin the process of whipping the egg yolks into sugar. What we're looking for is a nice, thick, pale mixture that's going to fall in heavy ribbons. Both opportunities of whipping the eggs, the yolks, and the whites separately with the sugar is an opportunity to put air into the mixture, which is going to give that nice light texture. So every now and then you got to stir your chocolate and butter. To make the process quicker also, I use room temperature butter. In general, in baking, you want all your products to be at room temperature for a more consistent mixture. Now we have our egg yolks and sugar at a nice thick consistency. So what I have here is a pastry ring, what I've sprayed and coated in sugar. Many pastry chefs in professional kitchens use a ring like this. It makes it a lot easier to remove the final product when it's done baking. I sprayed the ring in a bit of spray and rolled it in sugar. The sugar adheres to the spray, and then once the product is inside and baked, the sugar will then adhere to the baked product, giving a nice sugary crust. So as we continue to stir our chocolate and butter, that melts. We have whipped our egg yolks and sugar. Now we can begin whipping our egg whites and sugar. Egg whites and sugar, when whipped together, are commonly referred to as a meringue. I like to begin the whipping of my whites with a little bit of sugar in the beginning. This helps break up some of the egg whites. I can also add in the salt at this point, which also aids in the whipping of the whites. As the egg whites grow in volume and develop soft peaks, we can slowly add the rest of the sugar to build the structure of the egg whites. This will be key to keep it from deflating, maintaining as much foam and air as we can into the batter. Our egg whites have now started to have soft peaks, starting to foam. So now I'm going to increase the speed and gradually add the rest of my sugar. The egg whites have now reached the stiff peak consistency. It's now maximized the height that it can have. As you can tell, the peaks are nice and stiff. So now we have our mixtures all ready to go. The chocolate and butter have melted. By the way, in such a simple recipe, as I said before, high quality ingredients are key to this. Here at Oceana, we use Valrhona chocolate, which is a French chocolate. I would highly suggest to invest in high quality chocolate, whether that be imported or domestic. This particular chocolate is a 70% chocolate. The 70% represents the amount of cocoa fat and cocoa powder, in the chocolate itself. Higher the number, the more bitter and dark. Usually that indicates that there's less sugar as well. So the higher the number, the darker, richer chocolate cake you're going to have. So we have our chocolate and butter melted. We have our egg yolks and sugar, which have been melted. Now, because of the density, we're adding the egg yolks first, which are a little bit denser than the egg whites. And the densest product we have is the chocolate. So the best way to incorporate this is to add a small portion of what is lighter before. This helps lighten the mixture before adding the rest of the mixture. We're going to repeat this process with the egg whites again. So we added 1/3 of the egg yolks to the chocolate and butter. And now we will add the rest to the chocolate. We're folding. Folding is really when you scrape down the bowl and lift the batter up on itself. This is done to maintain as many of the air bubbles, which we worked so hard to get with our egg yolks and egg whites. So now we have our egg whites, which have been meringued. We add 1/3 in. Fold that in with the same technique. It's also important to know that when folding in, you don't need to wait until the entire mixture is incorporated before adding in the next step. I would go about 3/4 of the way of mixing and then start adding your next ingredient that you need to incorporate. So again, the technique for folding is coming straight down, scraping along the bottom, and lifting the batter upon itself. I also turn the bowl at the same time so that I get to all the areas in the bowl. All right. So once the mixture is completely mixed, we have our mold ready. This cake goes in a preheated oven at 350 for about 45 minutes. With any oven, there's hot spots, so I highly suggest rotating the product halfway through the cooking process. So now we have the finished cake. Once it comes out of the oven, the cake will be high and souffled. And as it cools, it will slowly sink and form that nice collapsed souffle look. Also, as it cools and shrinks, because you sprayed and sugared the ring, the cake will actually fall away from the ring, making it quite easy to remove the ring. So for the presentation, I'm going to slightly remove it from the parchment paper, move it onto the cutting board. And a plate of this. Some chocolate sauce here. To cut a slice from the chocolate cake, it's important to use a nice, hot, clean knife that's been dipped in hot water to get a nice, even cut. I'm going to sprinkle some powdered sugar on the side. So the presentation, I'm going to put a slice of chocolate cake. Do a nice scoop of whipped cream. And some fresh fruit. And there you have it. Nice flourless chocolate cake.